Good morning, everyone. I'm Vince Lancy, and this is the Gold Fix Market Rundown. It's 7:49 in the morning on the 28th of August. Okay, there's the homepage. Are you ready for $144 silver and $9 copper? Now, we're not going there today, but silver is up over a percentage point right now when other things are not moving very aggressively. So this is all about silver. We will discuss the chart for the Gold Fix chat people. I wasn't able to get in there yesterday, much at all, except to drop a couple pieces of information. And I want to talk about the chart a little bit today and about that Bollinger Band system we use and uh, what this means, even though that was negated. And it's all good news. Lower right-hand side, Newmont pursues deep cuts to capitalize on once in 50-year opportunity. That's our story. That's our news. And we're going to go through that. And the other story, which isn't up here anymore, but we're going to go through the Vietnam news and what it really means. Okay. Uh, the mainstream media is just not covering the actual stories. Okay, so let's start with the markets. 10-year yields are 423, unchanged offer. The dollar is 97.95, down 23. The S&P 500 is 64.81, up 11. The VIX is 1445, down 39. Gold is up 8, dragged higher by silver today, 3405. Silver is 3901, dragged higher by itself, up 45. Copper is 442, up a little bit over a penny. WTI up 25, 64 and change. Natural gas 278. Bitcoin up 1600. Healthy bounce, but at the lower end of its recent range. Ethereum still hanging in there. Palladium up 50 basis points. Platinum up very little. This is all pure silver. Gold, silver can't get above 88 now. Grains mixed, very flattish on the evening. Wheat's down a little bit. Okay, so that's silver. There's nothing else to explain that. They want the silver, whoever they are. We know who they are. And they want it. Central banks want it. Sovereign wealth funds want it. The BRICS want it. The West is now calling it a critical mineral. They want the silver. It's not, it's not just for solar panels anymore. Okay, let's go to the stories. We've got a couple stories that should be covered because on their own merits, they're important. And how they're spun by the regular media kind of is funny, but I'm no longer judging them. All right, so Newmont pursues deep cuts to capitalize on a once in 50-year opportunity. That's our headline. That's our story. Newmont Corp, the world's largest gold miner, is preparing sweeping cost reductions, including potential mass layoffs, to capture what executives have called a once in a 50-year opportunity to maximize shareholder returns. It seems Stanley Druckenmiller, who had taken a stake in February 2024 and is up over 110% as of this writing, has hit the mother lode. I'm sorry, I had to say that. The Denver-based miner has tapped Boston Consulting Group to advise on trimming as much as $300 per ounce from its all-in sustaining cost, or about 20%. Side note, check out who's on the board of Boston Consulting Group. Please recall in March and August, reiterated of this year, that we noted, Goldfix noted, the change in major producer behavior as observed in the commitment of traders reports that they were hedging, and we saw that as bullish for miners. That was instigated by Citi and other advisory banks towards reducing production costs, towards hedging, and maximizing shareholder value. That analysis was vindicated by recent price appreciation and stories like this. You should assume, give you a little color, forward-looking color. You should assume other majors are doing the same, and juniors will be behaving accordingly soon. Now, what will the Newmont do with the Newmont? Listen to me. What will the Newmont do with its extra money is the next question. Will they do buybacks? Will they do dividends? Or will they do acquisitions? Each major miner will do different things to maximize shareholder value, depending on what's best for their company. You hope, most of you know miners really well. You should know what's best for the company. And if they're doing something that's not best for the company, maybe it's best for your shares, then know that they're being influenced by their consultancy. Okay? That maybe they aren't really operating properly. But I'm not going to throw water on this. This is, as Newmont goes, the industry will follow. They're either going to increase dividends, they're either going to, or they're going to buy back shares, or they're going to uh, acquire someone. And I don't have any feel for that. Okay. The full analysis for that is in two posts. Mining's once in a 50-year opportunity to outshine. We highly, let's bring that up again for a second. That's over here. We highly recommend reading that and listening to that if you are long miners and are saying, well, maybe I should take some profits. That'll give you the full story, right? And if you're B, thinking about miners, well, you haven't missed it at all. You missed the return to normalcy. Okay, so you should read that because that's a fundamentals of the industry story. That's not a trader story. That's my roots, stuff like that. Okay. Next story. Vietnam ends gold monopoly, opens market to banks and firms. Now, Vietnam has ended its decades-long gold monopoly, allowing licensed banks and firms to import bullion and produce bars under strict capital and purity rules. The reform, led by party chief To Lam, aims to boost supply, curb smuggling, it's always for the people's benefit, right? And shrink premiums. It also signals, again, this is us talking, not Bloomberg. It also signals deeper ties with BRICS, where Vietnam has engaged in de-dollarization efforts, multipolar initiatives, and regional supply chain talks. Though not a member, Vietnam's alignment raises the prospect of a BRICS-linked vault in its future. Speaking of the BRICS, putting a little bit more meat on the bone, where do they stand with each other? Vietnam has signaled interest in closer BRICS ties through trade, investment, and financial cooperation. They're very interested in the financial aspect of the BRICS, it would seem. They emphasized de-dollarization and trade settlement and supported multipolar development initiatives. BRICS members, particularly China and Russia, have courted Vietnam as a strategic Southeast Asian partner, offering infrastructure investment. That's your Belt and Road Initiative. Energy cooperation. That's Russia, right? And inclusion in supply chain security discussions. Now, while not a member of Vietnam's alignment with BRICS push for alternative payment systems and South-South collaboration is steadily deepening. I wonder, just pulling this out of the air, I wonder if the aggressive maneuvers and nationalization and protection of critical minerals on the US's part is not a reaction to the growing potentiality of a BRICS type of currency basket. I wonder. Anyway, that's the story. You can read that as well. There are other stories, but coming soon. These were supposed to be out yesterday and today. Brand's Mar-a-Lago gold plan revealed. That's not very important right now, except that they're going to be selling gold if it rallies. Replacement migration was part of the plan. That's going to be a more flushed out version of the analysis we did on a paper by the UN saying that we're going to import people. And America's to pass through anti-Goldilocks. That's finished. We just want to hold off on that for a little bit. Data on deck is PCE. Today is GDP first revision. The market could have a move on that. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be important, but revisions down are going to be a big deal right now. I don't think revisions up are going to do much. And then tomorrow is PCE. All right. So we want to look at the markets for a second here. Little note to myself, silver to 40 before gold to 3,500. This won't hold much longer. Failed Bollinger Band breakout versus bounce. All right. So what am I talking about here? Let's see. All right. Let's start with, this is for the Goldfix chat people. All right. You may have remembered I said, when we did this, I got a buy signal for my 5-day system, and it rejected it the next day. It happens. You're stopped out. You're done. Now, I'm still long because I invested in a call, so my losses are limited. Now, Now we're up here. And then I did say after that, I said, look, my signal is dead. If we're going to go up, it's going to be because this is like a bull flag and it's going to break. And I'm telling you, as a war scarred veteran of metals, whenever 99% of the time when I got a failed uh, uh, breakout on my system, we almost always went to the midpoint. You could say that we did here, but then we would almost always go to the bottom. It would always get overbought, capped by the bank selling. CTAs would get overly long and they would just puke fiercely going down. I don't think there's any selling in the market at all now. I don't think this market is pricing the next sale. I think this market is pricing the next buy, meaning there's no organic selling. There's just none, right? Okay. There's only organic, there's hoarding now. This critical mineral thing is massive. It's no one's going to sell it anymore. And the paper guys, they're not going to sell it either, as much as they used to. Now, there's another phenomena going on. We just saw it in silver and we're seeing it in gold too. Um, for the last 10 years, it's been buy it during Asia, spoof it during London, and then probably sell it during the US, right? That's been the rotation for metals. For the last week or so, I got very concerned for gold and silver because Chinese stocks were doing very well. And I said, okay, that's very good. That's not bad for gold and silver, but it's going to siphon some money out of that and into their stock market. I mean, that's what their plan is ultimately. And I said, let's see what the US does. And if you look at the last 3 days, it's been Asian selling, Asian stocks go China. When I say Asia, I mean China here. China selling or not buying. Um, Europe indifferent, and then the U.S. has been buying. Yesterday, the markets bottomed at 9:45 after the U.S. Open came in. I think that the banks are getting surprised by the increase in flows. So this is U.S. buying. And with regards to the stocks, to the miners, I don't think it's light. I think it's big. I think it's just catching on now. You got triple top. You got an all-time high coming up in GDX and Newmont, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, in the past, this would never happen. You never get a bull flag breakout in silver higher. You always get a bear flag breakout in lower. All right. Um, Moving to a different chart. I had an alert set up today for silver that it cracked. And I mean, look, I could be just talking, out of my butt here, but that shouldn't hold. It should go up to my next level, which is, in this, the congested area, 39.25. It should go to 39.25. I mean, you say, okay, that's not a big deal, Vince. Who cares? I'm saying, yeah, but I'm not predicting $500. I'm telling you where it's going to go next. Okay, so it looks really good. Let's look at gold for a second. All right, that's my next level in gold, right? 34.24, never got there, got to 33.95, took some profits, but gold's still in a range, right? So if you want to buy miners, wait for dips in gold. I don't know what to say. Everything looks good. Knock on wood. And by the way, this is surprising for me personally because I thought between one data and the next data, if there's no news, why would it go up? It would just be going back and forth. And in a sense, you're seeing that in gold, but you're not seeing that in silver. Silver's its own boss. I'm Vince. Have a great day.